Hey everybody, Pat Petrini here. Hey, thanks so much for taking a couple minutes to watch this video. Basically, I wanted to share with you a few experiences that Emily and I had a few years ago that have had a really dramatic impact on us. And most importantly, I really wanted to get your feedback on something. There's a project that I'm considering starting that I think could be really cool. But before I commit, it'll take a lot of time and resources on my part. So before I commit to it, I really wanted to reach out to you and get your feedback on it. And see what you think. So there will be some links either up here or down here that you can click on once you watch this video and kind of give me your thoughts. It would be really, really valuable to me. So you may know my background. I've been for most of my professional life, I've been in the direct sales and the network marketing world with a lot of great mentoring and really hard work. I've been very fortunate to be a $1 million earner kind of in that space and still very involved there. For the last year and a half, I've been helping to launch a new concept in that world, and then Emily and I also have a book that's coming out later this year. So still very involved in that, but that's not what this video is about at all. What you may not know, and some of the experiences that I wanted to share with you, is that a few years ago, Emily and I went completely broke. So when the economy fell apart in 2007, 2008, of course, a ton of people had a lot of problems then. A lot of people went broke. But you know, the network marketing, we had a network marketing business, and that was our primary source of income. Network marketing pretty much fell apart around that time. Our business started to drop quite a bit. Now, we had, of course, made a good income, and we had put a lot of that into investments and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, we had pretty much totally invested in real estate. And so, of course, real estate totally collapsed then as well. And so we went from very positive to very negative very, very fast. And again, a lot of people did around that time. So we had lost everything. We had hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and we maxed out our credit cards. And my favorite government agency, the IRS, they were, of course, coming after us, trying to collect on the year that we had made a great income before everything had fallen apart. And we didn't have any money to pay them at that time. Now look, the purpose of this video is not for me to be able to like share my sob story with you and get your sympathy. That's definitely not what I'm looking for. Emily and I have been fortunate to live a great life. We have a great life today. We're very grateful for that. And by the way, I think it's really important for all of us to realize how lucky we are. If you're watching this video and you live here in the United States and you make more than like $30,000 or $35,000 a year, you are part of the 1%. I'm talking about globally. If you're making more than $30,000 or $35,000 a year, you are in the 1% of the worldwide population. So I recognize that on my worst day, I'm probably in a better financial situation than a huge percentage of the world population is ever going to experience on their best day. So it's important, I think, for all of us to realize that and be grateful for our experiences. But I share it with you just because maybe you can relate. Maybe you've been in a really low point. Maybe you find yourself in a really low point right now. And I want to share with you some of the things that we did to pull ourselves out of it. Now, because of the situation that we were in, and also because I had really lost my passion for the network marketing business that we were building at the time, we decided that it would make sense to sell that business and to just totally go in a different direction. And we decided to really aggressively dive into real estate and real estate investing. Now, we had no money, no credit, and had no positive experience with real estate investing. We had done a little bit of real estate investing, but nothing that made us any money. Only things that had lost us a ton of money, like a lot of people around that time. But we did dive in, and actually within a few months, and I was working my tail off, but within a few months, we had actually raised the money from private investors. We had purchased 10 investment properties just in a few months, and within a year, we had purchased about 30 properties. Now, a lot of those we ended up flipping, and to make some cash now, pay off some debt, things like that. The best ones we actually held on to as rentals because that was really our long-term goal, was to build up a passive portfolio of rental properties. So it was really interesting because 2012 was hands down by far our worst year financially by a long shot. And then 2013, we had totally turned it around. We had got rid of all of our debt, paid off our credit cards, everything, and 2013 was our best year ever by a long shot financially. And now, because of a couple years of really hard work in that area, we've been really fortunate to have built up a portfolio of rental properties that bring in a nice passive income for us. They're totally managed by somebody else. We're not getting calls from tenants or anything like that. And then we also have a business of flipping properties that brings in nice, consistent $10,000 and $20,000 per property paychecks here and there. That really is not that time intensive because of the team that we've put together. So anyway, this is what I would really love your feedback on. I've had a lot of people coming to me recently asking about real estate investing and how to get started, and kind of pointing them in different directions of different resources that are out there. And I have invested very heavily over the years in real estate education, hiring coaches, buying the different courses. I've spent at least $35,000 or $40,000 on all the educational material that I've bought over the years. And some of it has been very good, some of it has been a total waste of money. And basically, I can do a better job than most of the stuff that is out there, and I think that I can do it in a way that I can deliver it to people at a much lower price than what is out there. So I'm considering starting a mentoring program, a real estate investment mentoring program. Now, if I do this, I'll probably start with like a small trial group. And I call it a trial because it'll give me a good idea of kind of what people's needs are and how to best structure the course. And then it'll give me an idea if it's something that I really want to ramp up and invest in and put a lot of time into developing kind of a full-fledged real estate investment course. But just because I call it a trial, don't get me wrong, anybody who, if we do this trial, anybody that participates in it is going to have basically unlimited one-on-one attention with me. I'm going to not hold anything back. You're going to get everything that I've got, all my knowledge, all my resources, everything, all my resources of my partners and other experts that I know in the world that I'll be bringing to the table to connect to you. So you're going to have everything available to you that you need, and it's going to be way less expensive than anything else that I'm aware of that is out there. Now, I don't know what situation you might find yourself in right now. Maybe you would love the security of a nice passive income that's coming in from a rental property or a couple rental properties or a whole portfolio of rental properties like we've been able to build over the last couple years. Maybe you need a $10,000 or $20,000 check like yesterday to pay off some pending debt, or maybe you've got the IRS breathing down your neck like I did a few years ago. Do a couple of flips, something like that, to get some quick cash. Maybe you are really interested in like learning these skills. Like I said, we love that we now know these skills, and this is something that we can do for the rest of our lives almost anywhere that we go. Whatever it is, I'll be teaching you all that kind of stuff. With this trial group, I'll be working with each individual person and kind of deciding what they're looking for and catering totally to their needs. Now, if you've looked at any of the options out there as far as real estate education goes or mentoring, then you know that if you're looking for any sort of like one-on-one, maybe mastermind or one-on-one mentoring with anybody who actually has any experience, you're going to be spending at least $10,000 or $25,000 for that, possibly even more. I can remember the first time that I did that was in early 2000s. I hired a real estate coach. I spent $5,000 on it, and I had a once-a-week call with him. This guy could not care less. His name was Corey, and Corey could not care less about my success as a real estate investor. It was a total waste of $5,000 down the tube. Now, on the flip side, I've also had some great people that I've worked with that have been well worth the cost, but it still was $10,000 to $20,000 to work with them. It was very expensive. And like I said, my goal with this program, if I decide to create it based on your feedback, would be to create something that for me would have been more valuable than anything else that I've had out there, and is going to be delivered at a much lower cost. So this is the part where I could really use your feedback. Again, I'm thinking about putting together this course. I'd like to get your feedback first to see sort of what level of interest there is. Now, I know what you're asking. You're like, you still haven't said the price. You still haven't said the price. Here's what I'd like you to do, is click on the links that are here so that you can kind of say yes or no, interested, yes or not, and then you can give me kind of your feedback. If you say yes, I'm going to ask you just a couple of follow-up questions. But here's what I'd like you to assume. Assume, for the sake of answering these questions, that the money is not an issue. If the way that this is going to be priced, if the money is absolutely not an issue, then would it be something that you would be interested or not? And it's really important to me that you answer with conviction, meaning that if you say yes, don't say yes casually. Say yes like if I truly deliver that, if the money really is a non-issue for you, then you are really serious about participating in it. Because that's the only way that I'm going to get some really honest feedback of who would be legitimately interested in participating and who wouldn't. So anyway, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to go through this video. I really can't wait to get your feedback. Regardless, yes or no, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes to watch this. All right, thanks a lot.